Hey, what's happening? All right, this is week 2. This is like episode 42, I think. But this is like what? This is episode 2 from the Northeast at least. Episode 2 from the Northeast at least. I like it. Anyways, today we're kind of taking an easy day. It's Saturday. Well, I try not to say the days of the week because I don't know when this is going to come out. So just know that this was recorded on a Saturday. Yeah, so Charlie and I are just sitting tight, having a good weekend. I had some coffee this morning. It's the instant coffee, so don't get excited. Anyways, first of all, welcome to Treeline Podcast. This week, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. Last week we dove into family, and that was a lot. I've been hearing some feedback on that episode, which is good. Good feedback from family, mostly, but also some people that I grew up around that actually live around here. So hopefully we can kind of put some more content together with some old friends of mine. I think that'd be really cool for you guys and for myself to catch up with some old buddies. I think that'd be pretty cool too. But anyways, work's going good. A little slower this week, but that doesn't mean that next week it won't pick up. We're working hard. I'm learning a lot. But let's cut through the bullshit, man. I'm not just here for the small talk. I haven't been keeping up with a lot of the news. I've been seeing a lot going on with Gaza. I guess there's some civil war stuff going on over there. Look, man, I've been so busy lately, and I used to bitch about this a lot down in Florida, is I just wasn't busy enough, or, I spent too much time in my mind and my head, and it just backfired a lot, and obviously it led to a lot of types of thoughts that kind of evolved into this me moving up northeast kind of thing. But where was I going with that? Yeah, so now that I'm so busy, my brain is not, self-inflicting negative thoughts. It's more positive. I'm around happiness. I'm around smiles and cats and good things. So the family, it's just a whole different environment than what I'm used to. I'm used to waking up and basically doing nothing with my life. And I can't really blame Florida. I guess a lot of it's my own fault. But as you all know, I've been going through it last year and change, and now it's just like I know being up here, maybe it's the accumulation, or what do you call it? Accumulation of just all the negativity, and then finally slowing down with the alcohol, taking out the VA meds, all this stuff, and slowly it's progressing into something better. I still have the feelings of down. I still have the feelings of sadness and hopelessness from time to time, and I think it's slowly going away. But I do I want to attest that to the Prozac, the VA meds. We're not going to talk too much about that. We've talked about that enough over the course of this Treeline podcast. But yeah, I think that I'm still slowly coming away from these things. And I just know that if you are experiencing, or if you are on the antidepressants or whatever it is, just know that if you ever do wish to come off, it's not going to be as easy as you might think. It's not going to be black or white. It's going to be a process, and I think the real healing from whatever depressing things you're going through is going to be coming off those medications. That's where the real healing will take place, is because while you're on the medications, your body's not self-healing. It's not taking care of itself. It's just thinking about other things that make you happy. That's what these pills do. They just sit there and make you smile. They numb you but we've talked about all this. I'm not going to dive too deep into it because we've talked about it. But just be aware if you are on these things and you're trying to come off, wean off them. If you can, talk to your doctor. If they tell you that you shouldn't be coming off them, then they're not a good doctor. But I'm not going to say it again. I've said that a million times. Anyways, I picked up a baseball bat this past week. And those of you that know me, are close to me, or grew up around me, you know that I grew up loving baseball. I grew up as a cleanup hitter on my senior baseball team, Babe Ruth leagues in the summer. I wasn't very good in Florida. I tried out, I think, 1 year and didn't make it. But in Florida, them kids are freaking good at baseball. But they're good up here too. But they're Division I down in Florida where I was at, and this is like Division IV, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I loved baseball when I was growing up, and then this week I got to play a little bit of baseball with the nephews. It wasn't like a legit 9-on-9 setup, but it was me and one of my nephews and somebody else. Well, their father, which if you know me, you know who it is. If you don't, then don't worry about it. But him and the other nephew, no names, but we had a great time, man. It just feels good although it was it was like a wiffle ball bat and a wiffle ball, but it felt amazing to swing something. You know what I mean? But yeah, I got to buy me a glove, man, and I got to link up with some people who got gloves, and we got to throw around, man. It just feels like something we got to do. I'm not going to lie. If I do throw a baseball for 30, 40 minutes, I'm probably going to throw my back out. Just it comes with the territory, I guess, being, how old am I? 36 years old. It don't take much to throw your back out, to throw your shoulder out, and you feel it in your body for days. Like at this point, I remember back in the day, like I could, play baseball all season long and not pull nothing and not feel like I pulled anything or come even close to pulling anything. So now it's just like, it don't take much, man. Like I could lift something the wrong way or stand up the wrong way, or turn my back, just the right way. And that's all it takes to literally take a man my age out of commission for like a week or two. So be careful, man. The heaviest, hardest tasks aren't always the ones that are going to blow your back out. So I remember when I was a kid, I want to say like I was 21, 22 years old. I was just doing push-ups. I've been doing push-ups my whole life. I still do push-ups to this day. I'm a firm believer in push-ups. Anyways, I remember specifically I had to call out of work for 2 weeks, and I was like 21 just because I snapped something in my back doing a push-up, and I couldn't move. Like I don't know how to explain it. Whenever I hurt myself or I get sick, I'm like the biggest baby, which is something we've spoke about in the past as well. It's just, but I say me, but let's be real. It's probably every single man, in the world. At least, I know badass Marines. You know what I mean? That turn into tiny, soft babies when they get sick. The same thing happens to me. Probably to anybody. So, yeah. Kind of excited yesterday when I got back here to the house. My boy here, King Charles. Can y'all see him good? Charlie, you up, bub? Yeah, he's good. When I got home, he had a mouse for me. So it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like he's staying entertained. The mouse wasn't even 100% dead. It was dying. But this guy is a predator, a killer, and as soft and beautiful and cuddly as he is, he tortured that thing to death. I laugh. It's not funny. But that mouse suffered its last moments. It was going through some suffrage. It was a moment that obviously doesn't affect Charlie at all. He sleeps no problem. Doesn't blink an eye. He's a killer, a murderer, and I love him to death. I think it's just great minds think alike. I'm just joking. I'm not a killer and a murderer, but for him, I'll turn into fucking John Wick. All right. Yeah, man. Last weekend, my mother, I love her to death, man. She's a sweetheart, and she comments on like all these videos that I put up, and she comments on the little posts I do on Facebook and stuff with love and everything, and I love it, man. I just wonder what people think when they see it. Oh, the only one commenting on this dude's podcast is his mom about how much she loves him. It makes you feel like you remember like getting picked up by your parents from school, and your mom's like, "I'm over here, honey," screaming, blowing kisses, giving you a hug when she drops you off in front of all your friends. Well, that's just a feeling that I've come to terms with. I'm probably going to have that for the rest of my fucking life. But I love her to death. Fuck it. Oh, man. Yeah, so she bought me a bunch of clothes for work and stuff. And thank God, because coming up from Florida, I didn't have a lot. I mean, I had mostly shorts and T-shirts, and it's not too bad right now. We're talking, between, 50, 55 degrees on a weekday. Next week, it should be probably in the 30, 35, so we'll see. But I got some clothes now, so I'm not going to freeze my ass off. But I haven't really been freezing yet. 50 to 55 isn't that bad, considering I think most of my nerve endings in my skin are probably dead or dying. I think just because they've been, fried by other weathered areas in the world over the years. But so I don't get as super cold as I used to, even with my warm bloodedness coming from Florida. I don't get as super cold as you think I might. I could sit out past sunset, which I know a lot of guys around here, they're all doing it. I see them. They're in T-shirts past the sunset, and it's dropping like 40, 45. And these, I'm not going to say the state, but these Northeasterners, they'll be in T-shirts, shorts, and they're chilling. And I get it. They're acclimated. Their blood they're a little bit more cold-blooded, right? And I'm sure I'll be that. Well, we're not like alligators, right? We're not like cold-blooded or warm-blooded, but they're acclimated to the cold air more, and they tolerate it better. Right now, it's a little rough for me, so I play a little game in my head. Obviously, I want to look like I'm tough, so I'm not bitching about. You know what I mean? If I get cold, I'll keep it to myself. I'll hide. I'll do my best to hide my goosebumps. But I know the colder weather's catching up with me. I know it's going to come up here, but hopefully by that time I'm a little bit more acclimated. I know hopefully I'll be 100% acclimated. Probably not by this winter, but for sure by next winter. Which I know the winters are brutal, and I'm expecting it, and I'm going to be working through the winter, so I know it's going to be cold and brutal. But, I've been in really, really cold weather. I've been in really, really hot weather. I've been in dry weather, wet weather. I've been all over the place, man. So I'm not too worried about it. Obviously, I'm prepared. I got some clothes now. And as the winter comes closer and it gets a little bit colder, I'll keep preparing, more layers. But, I mean, that's something they teach in the Marine Corps. The colder it gets, the more you layer up. The hotter it gets, the more you delayer, right? What you don't want to do is just assume it's cold outside and start out with all your layers, right? Be smart about it. I guess I'm talking to myself here because I can't imagine anybody else sitting in the same boots I am. Not a lot of people leave Central Florida area to go up northeast to go work and do hard, calloused construction. You know what I mean? I'm definitely probably in that boat alone, but that's okay. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at this week. We got some work coming next week. I'm pretty excited about some things I'm going to be learning for the first time, talking about building. I don't want to get too in depth about it, but in addition to this house, and we're gonna put up a roof over it, and we're gonna have it's gonna be like a mudroom size, like I think 6x11 or something. It's just big enough to walk in and be able to stretch your arms or what have you. But it's interesting looking at plans for it, like the rafters, the sleepers, building the walls, and then the type of siding that the client wants to use. Like we're looking into that too, so we're learning about that, and it's like a lot of information that I'm not used to, mind you. I definitely don't want to call myself a builder by any means, but I am surrounding myself around those that do consider themselves builders, and hopefully some of that can rub off on me and I can learn some. But I am trying to retain information. I think I talked about it last week, but retaining information isn't as easy for me as it used to be. It's a little rusty, I guess, or the noodle's getting harder, thicker and harder. I don't know what that means, but it moves slower. So logically, if you don't think about it, it'll make sense. But yeah. As well. I am in I'm in a part of the country where it's more brutal. The weather's more brutal. The animals are tougher. For example, I saw a spike horn, which those of you that don't know, it's a young male deer with just enough horns to where it's not splitting off into points yet. It's just about just maybe 4 inches, 5 inches tall, and it's just the one horn on either side, and they call them spike horns. But I seen one on the side of the interstate the other day. It wasn't dead. It was just grazing. Hunting season is in about 3 weeks, so he's taking advantage of being, out in the open right now. Hopefully he doesn't take advantage for that too much longer because, well, let's be real. It's easy pickings, right? Either way, I saw him. It was exciting because it was like the first real wildlife besides the fox that I saw not too long ago. But I didn't get to stop and stare. We were driving on the interstate, so I just noticed the spike horn and we kept rolling. But it's cool. I mean, we're going from a fox to a deer. Hopefully we can get to a moose and a bear soon. But let's be real, man. I'm an animal guy, so every animal I see, every wildlife I see, I get excited about. When my cat had a mouse for me yesterday, I got excited, although it was barely alive. I wasn't going to eat it. And that's another thing that a lot of people don't know about cats is a lot of people are like, oh, man, I've been gone for a week. I've been gone for 2 weeks, and my cat brought me some, a dead mouse or lizard or whatever because it loves me and wants to give me a gift. Bro, that ain't it, man. That ain't it. If your cat is giving you a dead animal, it's not because they love you and they want to give you a gift. It's because they're worried about you and they think you're malnourished and they want you to eat. So yeah, that being said, deep down I know my cat's a little worried about me, but that's all right, Charlie. He doesn't look too worried right now. Maybe because when I took the mouse away, he probably just assumed I ate it, but I didn't eat it. I threw him away. But yeah, man, my it's nice to know my cat gives a shit about me. Oh shit! All right. But yeah, as far as work's been going, it's a slow process, but I'm learning a lot. And I'm going from there. We've been fishing, been out in the lake. I'm not going to tell you which lake. I'm not going to give you any access to my location. Unless you know me, you can drop me a DM and I can kind of tell you my whereabouts and we can go from there. But besides that, yeah, we've been fishing. I caught a nice, beautiful bass a couple weeks ago. I think it's on my profile picture on my Facebook, which, I haven't caught a fish probably in like 5 years. The last time I caught a fish was with my brother, and this time I was with my brother again. So I don't know if it's just because I'm with my brother, but I don't normally catch fish. I'm not super good at it, and I'm not super good at most things my brother's good at. But I'm getting better. I'm learning. I'm trying to take direction well. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun up here, you guys. It's my kind of fun. It's like a 36-year-old man's fun. Like relaxing around 6, 7 at night to tone down the evening. That's fun for me, so that's what I'm doing. But yeah, I do want to get outside some before the winter really kicks in, because once it gets brutal out, I don't know how much fun I'm going to be looking forward to being outside. So if I want to go hiking, I guess now's the time. Hiking, or we could do some ice fishing this winter. I'm looking forward to that. I haven't done that in my whole life, so that'll be new for me. But yeah, hiking for sure. I want to get into hunting. I don't mind. Obviously, for about, however long I was in the Marine Corps, I'm half, let's say about 75% of that job is walking through the woods, day, night, rain, shine, it don't matter. Like you're in the woods. So I love being in the woods, man. So that's something I look forward to hunting this year, is just being in the woods. I'm not going to go hunting at night. Obviously, I'm pretty sure that's illegal. So you don't have to worry about me walking around the woods at night with a rifle anymore. But yeah, I look forward to hunting. It'd be super dope if I could pull a deer in this year or something. That's awesome, man. God, that'd be so dope, man. Actually, that's my mission for the winter is to get a deer. Yeah, man. If I got a rifle. I just need to go get my license, my hunting license, and we can go from there, man. And I guess I got 3 weeks to prepare for that. And me and Charlie will be eating venison, hopefully no later than like December. That'd be dope. That would be super awesome. Right, Bubba? Yeah. But yeah. So I've been trying to catch up on some old shows that I used to watch a lot, which I've said it a million times, but The Sopranos is a show that it's like a prerequisite to manhood. If you ain't seen The Sopranos, then here's some homework. Go watch it. But yeah, I'm catching back up on The Sopranos. I love The Sopranos, man. It's just Tony Soprano reminds me of like a hard ass asshole. You know, I think I've talked about this before. That just doesn't give a shit about anybody except for his family. You know, and his family's well-being. So I just, I've been catching up on that. It just makes me feel good, especially like being around family now. I don't consider myself a Tony Soprano by any means, right? But I like to believe that my family means more to me than anybody else. So hopefully I got that in common with my man Soprano. But, sad. James Gandolfini's dead. Been dead for some time. It's not news. It's just sad. But yeah. I haven't been eating as healthy as I'd like to be. I've been, don't get me wrong, the food I've been eating up here, I don't know what it is. It seems like everybody up in this neck of the woods are just freaking gourmet chefs. Is that what it is? Is that like part of being a Northeasterner? You just have to cook good? Because if that's the case, I'm pretty screwed, man. Because I've been eating canned food like my whole life, and I look forward to eating like Vienna sausages, which not many people do. So when it comes to cooking, I guess if I really exert myself and read cooking instructions verbatim, right, then I might be all right at it. But no, I'm not a great cook. Hopefully I can learn a little bit up here. It seems like whenever someone's cooking for me, I try to pay attention, but it's like a hip pocket class I'm just not ready for, or maybe I need to start taking notes. It just seems like a lot of instruction for putting food together. But let me tell you something, man. I'm just so used to eating for nourishment, man, not necessarily for taste or the experience, So I'm just like, that's, I just, for the longest time, I just eat for nourishment, So now to sit back and kind of like relax and reevaluate, food a little bit is interesting because, like I said, I could, if I didn't have dinner tonight, like I could, if I had the money, well, I have the money, but if I had to go buy food to cook it, versus like buy a few cans of sardines, I'm telling you, man, I'm like a caveman. So it's just easier for me, even if I have all the time in the world to cook something, just to get like cans of sardines, and or oysters or something, just canned meat. And I know it's not probably the healthiest thing, but it's not healthy. I know most canned foods are probably healthier than most things you find at Walmart, but not like the outer perimeter of Walmart. Like the meats and stuff is probably the healthiest route you can go. The meats, the vegetables, the fruits, the deli, everything on the outskirts of the grocery area is probably the healthiest route to go at Walmart. And then if you want to dive into the aisles, I would dive into the canned foods. Canned vegetables, canned meats, stuff like that. There's obviously canned foods I wouldn't recommend, But even I am guilty of downing some SpaghettiOs when the time calls for it. But yeah, man, to me, that's like a gourmet meal when I'm like, all right, hard week. Let's go to Walmart and get 2 cans of SpaghettiOs and really party. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So that's what I look forward to on a hard. Oh, that's what I used to look forward to after a hard week, or if I, back in the day, man, going to the field and lug nut, corporal type, man. I know you know who you are. I'm not going to say your name on here, but your call sign for me was lug nut. But man, I remember one specific field op, we were living like kings just because we had so many cans of Vienna sausages. Like, that is the standard of having a great field op. Having eating like kings, eating in lamp of luxury, just being just living like a king in the field is having Vienna sausages and cigarettes, man. I don't know any other way to put it. And I don't even smoke cigarettes anymore. But whenever I have like those nostalgic thoughts, it's like sitting in the field with my flak jacket on, sweating my ass off, sitting back, having a cigarette. That's nostalgic to me. That's what I like. But obviously, it's not the lifestyle I'm living. But I'm done smoking, man. I don't smoke cigarettes. I think it's I'm not against those that do, but it's not a healthy move, you know. And nowadays, I remember back in the day when I was young, man, it seemed like everybody I was hanging out with, especially in the Marine Corps, man, just everybody smoked cigarettes. And then towards the end of my Marine Corps, I noticed a lot less young Marines were smoking cigarettes. And now in the civilian world, even less. You don't really see people smoke cigarettes. Occasionally you'll see older dudes smoking a cigarette. I guess younger dudes every once in a while, younger people, but mostly older people, man. It's like this generation did a good job not advertising or pushing cigarettes so much, or maybe there's just better alternatives to nicotine. There's even, I've been seeing it on Kill Tony, but they advertise, and they're actually supported by some company that makes nicotine toothpicks. So those that smoke or want to stop smoking can go get these toothpicks and just chew on them, and they're getting the nicotine fix that they need. So I don't know. There's a lot of alternatives to nicotine now that people are taking advantage of, and I'm about it, man. I think smoking's gross. I mean, if you smoke, I don't think you're gross. I'm sure you're a nice person. You probably smell like cigarettes and your hands are yellow. I mean, I don't know. It just makes sense to me. That's the case in most cases, right? So if you're smoking cigarettes and you know you're doing, even if you're doing like a pack every 2 or 3 days, like, you're smoking too much, man. They're just gross. And then, but also, I'm pretty sure there's like a huge correlation between like cancers, lung cancers, and even cancer in your heart and other parts of your body just from cigarette smoke. Apparently, I mean, I'm not an advocate, I'm not against marijuana, but apparently there's a lot less correlation with cancers and marijuana than there is with cancers and cigarettes. So if you're a cigarette smoker and a marijuana smoker, maybe cut back on the cigarettes and up your marijuana. I'm not saying that you should be smoking a shit ton of marijuana every day, but I'm not saying you should smoke marijuana, actually. All I'm saying is you shouldn't smoke cigarettes. You should get off of that shit as soon as you can. Yeah, for the longest time I was smoking, and when I got out the Marine Corps, and I finally decided to quit smoking cigarettes, and I kind of shifted lanes into THC, right? And I'm a firm believer that you know has been a benefit to my life. I've gone through it since. As you've seen on many episodes, I've been going through it since I made that transition from cigarettes to THC. But I'm glad I made that change. What was it, like maybe 3-4 years ago now, or 4 or 5 anyways. I'm glad I made that change when I did. I'm just glad that I haven't been smoking cigarettes for 4 or 5 years, right? I'm not coughing nearly as much. And the inhalation I do take in from the THC is significantly less smoke than I was when I was smoking cigarettes. I'm talking about like, I was probably, on average, I could probably finish a pack of cigarettes in like 2 days. But now, you know, I don't even probably smoke one cigarette amount of THC per day. So like the smoke inhalation alone is just significantly lower. I'm not coughing. I'm not coughing up shit. I'm not coughing up phlegm. Let me tell you, man, one of the biggest benefits of my life was cutting out cigarettes, and I recommend you do the same. I'm not saying do it my way. What I did was I just started messing with THC, and that helped me through the process. But I'm sure there's other ways too. If you don't want to get into THC or whatever, if you want to just quit and not do any substances, then try Chantix or something. Try a gum, one of those nicotine gums, or even the freaking toothpicks. I'm sure they could help you cut back. But if you're smoking cigarettes and you're a friend of mine, I suggest you get the fuck away from them because they're going to kill you. All right. Especially if, well, I could just tell you from my personal experience, I was smoking cigarettes. I was drinking all the time. And I'm not saying they go hand in hand, but I remember when I was drinking a lot, I had to have cigarettes. You know what I mean? So it's even when I tried to cut back smoking cigarettes, when I did, in that process, I cut it back to like only smoking when I was drinking. You know, a lot of people associate the two together, and there's just that urge after you're drinking to smoke a cigarette. So now I don't even get those urges. If I'm drinking, I don't even drink that much anymore, honestly. But But back in the day, I would get urges to smoke. Nowadays, if I have 2 or 3 beers, that's pretty much my limit. I mean, if I go real crazy, I'll have like 4 or 5. But typically, like, I don't even think about cigarettes, man. And when I do smell someone else's cigarette or see someone smoking, I just get that instant sense of ugh. You know what I mean? But yeah. All right, guys, let's cut it. Charlie, you got anything? Any parting words, my man? Charlie, Bubba, what are you doing? Hey. No, Charlie just sitting in today, I guess. But yeah, you guys, please like, follow, subscribe to Treeline Podcast. I love you guys. Thanks for watching the last episode, the Humbled episode. That one was a little hard for me to do. It was a little bit personal for me, but hey, a lot of these are going to be personal. As you know, if you've heard me in the past, it gets personal, man. But yeah, I love you guys. Please like, follow, subscribe to Treeline Podcast, and I will see you next week. Later.